Nick, I'm glad I found you. Look, we're stuck in this time loop, and we're being chased by killer robots, cyborgs. And, yeah, and we can't get out. There's something trapping us inside. And we died before, like once or twice before, and we're still alive though, somehow. And yeah, something to do with that time loop or something. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Good, because I thought that sounded incredibly ridiculous.
Oh, by the way, I'm not the Nick you're looking for.
You're not?
He's over there.
Sarah? Oh, there you are, Nick. Wait, hold on. Who are you then?
Oh, I am Nick Payne. I'm the person conducting this review. This particular review. Other reviews are conducted by other people.
Right, okay. Sure.
Okay, you will now go and speak to Nick.
I'm gonna go and speak to the other Nick now.
And after this is all done, you will date him.
And if we get out of here alive, I'm going to go and date him.
Right. See ya. Have fun. Good luck. Bye.
Right, see you later. Bye.
Wait, hold on a minute. I'm single as well. Damn it. I had my chance, and at least those two will be happy together. Oh well, at least I've always got my Daleks. Don't I, Mr. Dalek?
What do you mean you're not the Dalek type of Dalek that appears in this episode? Bugger. Oh well. Never mind. Let's enjoy the review. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of the 2022 Doctor Who New Year special, Eve of the Daleks, which is also the most recent episode of the show at the time of recording. However, hopefully within a month's time, Legend of the Sea Devils will be airing, hopefully, the 2022 Easter or spring, depending on broadcast date, special of the show, and the second special of the Series 13 specials mini-series. So Eve of the Daleks, as you could probably guess from that last sentence, is the first of the three Series 13 2022 specials, which will wrap up the 13th Doctor's era, following Series 13 or Season 39, or Flux, the last series and the six-part mega story that was Flux. And this episode, as I mentioned in the ranking of that, which was the previous video I've done, this episode does kind of feel like an epilogue to that, with TARDIS still kind of being a bit damaged after the events of the Flux, and they have to fix that. The Doctor and company allow the TARDIS to fix itself up, but whilst they do, they are hunted down by some executioner Daleks who are after the Doctor for hijacking the Sontaran's plan to destroy all the Daleks and Cybermen, and hijacking it to destroy the Sontarans afterwards, and they blame her for the Daleks all being destroyed in the final episode of Flux, the Vanquishers. And surprisingly, they're successful. The Daleks, or at least a Dalek, is successful in killing the Doctor, Yaz, Dan, and two other characters called Sarah and Nick. More on them later. In Sarah's storage facility centre, Elf Storage, or self-storage, but the S fell off, as she says. So they're all here. The TARDIS has brought them here so that it can then go away and sort itself out. However, because it's doing that, it creates a time loop to keep all five characters alive on time loops, and they get exterminated by the Daleks on each time loop, but they get another chance each time to keep going. But they've got 1 minute less than before, so going from 9 minutes to midnight on New Year's Eve, they've got until 1 minute to midnight to try and find out a way to stop the Daleks and avoid being extermination. Because after midnight, it's likely the loop will close, as it's counting down towards that time and the new year. So, Eve of the Daleks. This is a brilliant episode. As mentioned, the TARDIS has well, it's not trapped, it's got the characters in this time loop so they can avoid being exterminated by the Daleks. So they have another couple of goes rounds to try and defeat the Daleks and get out of the situation alive. At this self-storage site is Sarah, who owns the site, following kind of taking it over from her deceased uncle or great uncle. It's not really made clear whether it's her mother's brother or father's brother, or if it was their uncle, from the sound of it. But yeah, she's taken over this business that she despises with all her body, and she despises being on New Year's Eve, especially because everybody's out having fun, partying, and all that. And she's got to work because the only other employee there, Jeff, who we never ever meet, by the way, bails on her. So she's got to be stuck there. And Nick is kind of like her only customer, or at least the only customer they actually acknowledge. And he only comes on New Year's Eves to drop off stuff that his girlfriends that he went on a date with, or two, or had a relationship, or whatever. They leave some belongings behind, and he decides to put them in this storage stuff in case they want them back, but he doesn't want them in his flat. And like I can relate to this guy on the fact that he has difficulty throwing stuff away. I relate to you, buddy. I completely relate to you. I have attachment issues to objects and stuff. I'm like, I know I want to throw it away, kind of thing. Also, he's called Nick. Relation. Nick, not me, the character. Nick also has a kind of a crush on Sarah, so it's a bit odd that he has some relationships, serious or otherwise, with other women, and yet this is the woman he actually properly likes. But he has a sort of a crush on her, and he comes to here every New Year's Eve, as well as to drop off his stuff to also see her. Not necessarily stalk away, more of a kind of like you pop in every year to say hi, see you, etc. But I can't really make a move or anything because I'm too embarrassed, sort of a thing. It's slightly kind of a little bit creepy, but I'm not gonna outright say the guy is a complete creep. I can see where he's coming from. He's shy. He's a shy guy. Sarah, on the other hand, is anything but. She is loud, she is abrasive, she is bossy, she gets cross easily. And yet, she's still an enduring character. She's still really fun. Aisling B plays her, and she's outstanding. She's so engaging and so fun, and brings the character to life. I think the actor who plays Nick is also really good in the role, but I think Aisling steals the show in this episode. She's just absolutely phenomenal as Sarah. She's bloody amazing. And Sarah's also a pretty great written character as well. Then again, maybe some of that's down to the performance, actually. But I think the characters there are pretty well written, and I love how she's like pissed off at all of Jeff kind of taking pretty much the entire floor for all of his stuff that are not allowed. None of this stuff is allowed to be stored. He stores so much stuff, not just on that floor, but other floors as well. That Sarah would say that this is what would be against the rules, Jeff. And yet he does. He harbors all this stuff that would probably have gotten him fired ages ago if he actually turned up to do his actual work. The TARDIS team's dynamic in this episode, I also think, are probably the strongest of the so far 7 episodes this team's been together of the Doctor, Yaz, Dan. Yeah, the Doctor and Yaz have also done 22 episodes prior to Flux, but I think with the inclusion of Dan as opposed to the inclusion of Graham and Ryan in those first 22 episodes, I think out of the 7 so far with Dan, this dynamic has been it's probably at its best with the three. It's so good. Also, this is the episode that makes Phasmin canon. That's right, it's the fan shit thing that's been going on since the start of Series 11, or around early Series 11, and maybe even precedes beforehand. It's canon. It's now canon. We had hints of it over the last series. We had hints of it towards the end of Series 12 and in Revolution of the Daleks. But this is the episode that confirms this ship is canon. And you know what? Okay, cool, excellent. I wonder how it goes. They're probably both going to die horribly in the last episode. 13 will eventually regenerate, maybe. But, well, I say maybe considering that some of the dialogue said by time in the last episode, and the fact that the 14th Doctor at time of recording still hasn't been announced. So, we'll see. But, yeah, it's probably likely they'll open up to each other eventually and then die horribly. 13 may regenerate, but I don't think there'll be much comfort for Yaz. And Dan actually notices this and encourages it because of, as he mentioned, he spent too long to tell someone he loved them or liked them in that way, Diane, and then the universe got torn apart and they ultimately had to go their separate ways afterwards. And I like that he's kind of encouraging the two to actually tell each other how you feel. I find Dan to be a pretty great guy. Also, I love the scene where he just stops the elevator in one of the time loops, goes out and goes and distracts the Dalek. That was a fantastic scene, and I just loved the bit where he's just like trying to dodge the gun for a bit until the Dalek realizes that it's a distraction. Oh, some amazing lines. Have I mentioned that I love John Bishop as Dan? Oh, the character's so well written, but I think, like with Ashton B as Sarah in this episode, John Bishop just delivers that extra flavour of fantastic to the already brilliantly written character. Oh, 7 episodes, and it's still amazing. Yeah, it's such a shame he's only got 9 in total. If it wasn't for this fucking pandemic, we could have had at least 11, maybe even 12. Including the Centennial special, but oh well, at least we've got these 9. There's 2 more left to go as well, so yay, 2 more episodes of Dan. I'm not expecting him to save the series first, 14, but yeah, more Dan coming. And going back to the Doctor and Yaz, as well as the ship, I also found their characterization in this story to be pretty great, and how they're bouncing off each other in this episode and the last 6 episodes as well, as a team, and how they actually care for each other, and how the chemistry is between the 2 actors, Jodie Whittaker and Amanda Gill, works really brilliantly. And I think this episode works really well with having just 5 characters plus the Daleks, and 2 other characters that aren't really in the action that much, and it just works really well as a nice, tight story. You can tell this one was probably filmed during the pandemic, but after so many characters in the last 6 episodes, and having quite a few episodes in the past 2 series with lots of supporting characters, especially the Series 12 finale and the previous New Year special, it feels really nice that we've got a tight main 5 character cast for this episode. The main 3 characters of the show at this point, and 2 main supporting characters, with a few other supporting characters for smaller appearances in the episode, such as Sarah's mother, and a surprise cameo appearance at the end from Carl the crane operator, from The Woman Who Fell to Earth, for some reason. Also the Daleks, but more on them in a bit. I'll quickly mention Sarah's mum, Mary. She's also really funny. She's got some great moments, and her calling Sarah is supposed to just be the one call, but because of the time loop, it's like 9, I suppose. Also, 1 more to help defeat the Daleks as well, and 1 more at the very end, on the next day, which was nice. I think Mary's a pretty funny character in the episode. She doesn't get a huge amount to do, but for the time she's on screen, she's really funny. And now we get to the Daleks. And for the 3rd time in a row, 4 if you count Flux, Chris Chibnall proves he is one of the best writers of the new series to write the Daleks. Alongside Rob Shearman, Russell T Davies, to a lesser extent Helen Rayner, Chris Chibnall is one of the best new series writers writing the Daleks. Though, to be fair, the other ones are Mark Gatiss, who did well with them, Stephen Moffat, and Phil Ford, who tried. And Stephen Moffat, I think, worked better when they were in the smaller cameos or smaller appearances, but didn't quite get them when they had their full stories. But yeah, after Russell T Davies and Robert Sherman, I think Chris Chibnall is the best new series writer for the Daleks. He has written them consistently, brilliantly over the 3 New Year specials they've appeared in and their brief appearances in Flux. And this episode pretty much solidifies that. The Daleks are probably at their absolute best in this era of the show. They are just absolutely amazing. Yeah, they might say Daleks do not or are not a few times, but it does fit with their characters. They are not merciful. They're not fair, etc., etc. And they're coming to kill the Doctor because of something the Sontarans did, and then she hijacks that plan to get rid of the Sontarans, but they're going to still blame her anyway. Try and get rid of her, Yaz and Dan, and they're going to get rid of Nick and Sarah for reasons that are not really explained, but my theory is because they're not Daleks and because they can. / want to. So I presume they're just killing Nick and Sarah because they're not Daleks, so exterminate, I guess. Which, in that case, is entirely in character for the Daleks. You can tell with these 3 Dalek stories, plus the Flux cameo, that Chibnall really gets the Daleks, almost as much as Russell T Davies did. And which means that we've got some really great Dalek stories, especially this one. It's so well handled, and the Daleks coming to execute the Doctor just absolutely fits, regardless of reason. And the fact that they're just as persistent on trying to kill the Doctor and everybody else, as much as everybody's trying to get out there alive, is really great. In this episode, I counted a total of 5 Daleks in one loop. However, across the different loops, you can have 1, 2, or up to 3 Daleks. But this middle loop where Nick is able to dodge 2 Daleks shooting at him, and then we get 3 Daleks at the end, that's the only time I counted 5 Daleks. But throughout the other loops, it starts off with 1, then goes to 2, and then ultimately 3 with this middle loop. Well, I suppose this middle loop was 5, and then 3 later on. But yeah, it was really great seeing mostly 3, but up to 5 Daleks in a time loop. This was so cool. This also confirms up to 5 Daleks were still alive after Flux. And at least 2 might still be out there, unless maybe all 5 were down in the last loop, just to be on the safe side. That or the other 2 got regenerated before the new loop started. No, there must have been at least 5. But yeah, anyway, Daleks are really well handled, and how they're taken out is pretty spectacular as well. And I like the design of the gun. It's kind of an executioner style gun. It's pretty cool, really interesting. I am disappointed, however, we haven't had the suckers come back. I like the kind of new attachments that they've had over the last couple of episodes, but as an old school Dalek fan, and new school Daleks fan as well, I actually like the Paradigm Daleks. I do like the idea of maybe seeing the plungers back, especially with these guns, but I suppose, considering we're still using the bronze Daleks again, it is a slight change, so they're not always using the bronze ones constantly. Well, they are, but the plunger's been replaced by this new attachment. But it would have been interesting to see a plunger again. One slight criticism about Chibnall writing the Daleks I do have is that there is a lack of a leader Dalek. I feel like we should have definitely have had it in Revolution of the Daleks. Instead, a task force leader or just a leader or something, instead of just a random Dalek being in charge. Same for maybe in the last episode of Flux, maybe also in episode 3 when they're doing all of that scouting around or hovering on this planet. And here it would have been interesting to have a leader executioner Dalek. I mean, we don't have to, but I feel like a lack of leader Daleks in the Chibnall era is a bit of an issue. I also have that kind of an issue with, on reflection, with Into the Dalek. I realised there could have been a leader Dalek there, but I think that one gets away with it because we're inside a Dalek most of the time. We're seeing it from its perspective. But I think with these episodes, we could, at least, definitely with Revolution of the Daleks, at least, a leader Dalek would have been interesting. We could have brought back the Task Force Commander Dalek. It could have been a really cool gold Dalek, and still have the same design as the bronze ones, or a black Dalek similar to Dalek Sec. I thought that might be, and considering there was one in the Series 9 opener, I thought maybe that was the new series' equivalent to a Task Force Commander or Leader or something, similar to the red one being a new Supreme. If the Daleks do cameo in the Centenary Special, as rumoured, although this could have been, maybe the production still might have been for this episode, maybe we might see a Task Force leader, but if it is a brief cameo, it might just be a normal Dalek. Maybe it's the survivors of this episode, and maybe they're thinking, okay, we failed this time, but we've got one more chance to exterminate the Doctor before the Dalek race is pretty much extinct at this point if we fail, unless there's some more Daleks out there. Production-wise, most of the building is a bit more of a bland self-storage unit, and yet it works really well with time loop, running away, escaping, being exterminated by killer cyborgs, or robots, as Sarah says, which they aren't, they're cyborgs, alien cyborgs as well, aliens, mutant cyborgs, come to that. But it's great that this kind of bland, boring place that these characters are stuck in has some interesting locations that they go in. There's the reception. There's a couple of units that are covered in Jeff's stuff as well as Nick's stuff in his units, and the parking garage at the bottom, and a couple of other places around here. It actually turns what would be an incredibly boring location into somewhere pretty interesting to explore, despite the blandness. And I think it's handled really well. The cinematography is great, the editing's great, the effects great. So direction, Annette Laffer or something, she does a really great job with the direction for the most parts of this episode. Unlike with Jamie Magnus Stone's episodes of Flux, the execution is not messy. In fact, I think this is a pretty solid episode alongside War of the Sontarans and Village of the Angels from the last year. And I think, yeah, this is a really brilliant episode. It's handled so well. Tight script, great cast, brilliant the characterization for the Daleks, great direction, great visuals. It works really well, and it's handled pretty great. I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. Fantastic episode. Okay, maybe there's a couple of niggles here and there, but you know what? Fantastic episode. 10 out of 10 episode in this era. Absolutely stunning, brilliant episode. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Maybe there could be some stuff that could have been ironed out. For the most part, this is a nice, tight, standalone episode that also kind of works as an epilogue to the big six-parter just gone. A nice, tight, small cast, great villains, and a location that looks bland initially, but you still get to have a lot of fun and go to some pretty interesting places in this bland-looking storage unit. But yeah, there's a couple of interesting rooms here and there. Nice. Oh yeah, this episode is great. This is absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, easily the best Dalek episode since Journey's End. / best Dalek story since Stolen Earth Journey's End, though I still am a fan of Resolution. So, that's it from my review of the Doctor Who 2022 New Year special, Eve of the Daleks. The next episode, which hopefully will be broadcasting in about a month's time, at the time of recording on the 18th of March 2022, which is also the day I recorded the Flux ranking, Series 13 ranking. At time of recording, hopefully it's about a month's time to Legend of the Sea Devils, the 2022 spring / hopefully Easter special. Hopefully it would be designated the Easter special if broadcast on Easter Day or the Saturday prior. So Saturday 16th or Sunday 17th of April. Hopefully, fingers crossed. It's apparently going to be airing around Easter time, so hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be the Saturday or the Sunday. And I don't think it should be the Friday or the Monday. I think it should be the Saturday or the Sunday. And then a 6 to 7 month wait to the Centenary special. And then that'll be it from the 13th Doctor's era. Shane, and I'll do, like I said at the end of the Flux Series 13 ranking, I'll do some videos to updating my 13th Doctor top 10 stories ranking. This episode's probably going to be on it. And also videos about episodes up to the Centenary Special, which will also be the 300th serial of the show. If you take out Sharda and you count Trial of a Time Lord and Flux as one story each, then the Centenary Special will be story number 300. So that's going to be a big one. But first, story number 299 is next, Legend of the Sea Devils, The Return of the Sea Devils. And the pirate story featuring Chinese pirates. And I think I've read about this one particular female Chinese pirate, I think, at one point, in a section about female pirates in a not quite horrible histories book, but a horrible history style book about pirates. And then there was this section on Anne Bonny, and then a mini section in that about female pirates, and that included this one. And that was probably the most interesting part, because you don't really hear about the female pirates that much as the men ones, besides maybe Anne Bonny. And yeah, this will be a really interesting one. A Chinese lady pirate. A historical adventure with sea devils. And are the sea devils the real threat in the episode? It's possible there might be another threat from some of the dialogue said and some of the speculation. So it will be incredibly interesting to see what happens in the next episode. So tune in to my review of Legend of the Sea Devils. Hopefully sooner than 2 months after its broadcast. 2.5 months after its broadcast. I'll try and see if I can get it out at the end of April, start of May. But yeah, I'll definitely be covering it. So, thank you so much for watching this review, and I'll see you guys next time for whatever may come. May that be Legend of the Sea Devils or something else. Until then, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Yeah, that spur of the moment change of mind was a little unexpected, and yeah, my mind might even change again next time I see the episode, or maybe in a couple months' time I might change my mind. Maybe a revisitation review. I don't know, but you know, it kind of felt right talking about it. So yeah, I'm going to stand by it. You even listening to me, mate? Why are you looking at that globe so interestingly? It's not even the real thing. It's not even the. What are you doing? Wait, what are you doing? No, I've still got 2 more episodes of the 13th Doctor serial left. Oh, it's okay. I'm going back to looking at the globe. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne YouTube channel.